We have been talking about readers in this series. Today I'm going to share your submissions and recommendations for your top picks for readers to use in your Spanish classroom. Hey, it's Ashley, aka Senior Spanish, where I provide easy-to-use resources to save you time and energy while you're lesson planning. If you're new here, I just want to make sure you know that links to everything that I mentioned in this video will be down in the description box below. We're talking about Spanish levels 1 all the way through AP, so as you're trying to make picks and choices for which books to use in your classroom, make sure you check out this list. Alright, we're going to get right into this, but the first thing that I want to mention is that these recommendations were submissions in a Google form that I pushed out to my newsletter, I put it on social media, I put it in Spanish teachers' Facebook groups, I put it everywhere that I could think of to help people know it existed. I have not personally read all of these recommendations. So I just want to be clear that these aren't my personal recommendations, rather they are a sum of collective experience shared and submitted in the responses to that form. I do have a playlist where I walk through different books that I have read and recommend, and I'll make sure to link that for you, but let's just get right into the recommendations. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, beginning with Spanish 1. The top recommendations, and absolutely top of the top was Capybara con Botas, which does not surprise me at all. The next pick was the Brandon Brown series, especially Brandon Brown Quiere un Perro. This series as a whole was really just recommended. That one stood out, but many people just mentioned the whole series. The third top pick for Spanish 1 was the Soy Carlos series, and that does not surprise me at all. If you haven't seen my video on the Soy Carlos series, I'll make sure to link that for you here, but that does not surprise me at all that that came so highly recommended. The runners up on the Spanish 1 list were Llamas en Lima, Peter va a Colombia, Tumba, and Agentes Secretos. Okay, moving on to Spanish 2. The top pick was Robo en la Noche, which again, doesn't surprise me. This is a super fun book. My favorite thing about this book is that it has both tenses. So if you start this direction, right, it says to read this book in present tense, turn book over and read from back cover. So if I read this way, it's in a different tense, which is awesome for Spanish 2 because sometimes you're working more on present tense and sometimes you're working more on past. So this book is just really flexible for your levels. The next two top picks after Robo en la Noche, Esperanza and Agentes Secretos. And quite a few people also recommended La Clase de Confesiones, which is one of my personal favorites, and then also Felipe Alou. Okay, we're gonna look at Spanish 3 next. The top pick for Spanish 3 was La Vida y Muerte en la Mar Salvatrucha. The second pick was La Llorona de Mazatlan, and then there was a tie for third place in the recommendations, which I thought was really interesting. Esperanza, which was also a pick for level 2, and La Guerra Sucia. Okay, and then I decided to combine Spanish 4 and AP together because in the responses to the forms, most people said things like, our Spanish 4 is AP, or I teach Spanish 4 as AP, right? Your school offers 4 levels, but that 4th level is AP. So I decided to combine the recommendations because that's what most of you did. So the top picks for Spanish 4 and AP were again La Vida y Muerte en la Mar Salvatrucha, La Hija del Sastre, La Guerra Sucia, Frida Kahlo, and then Vidas Impactantes. There were some clear winners, and then there was just a lot of variety. So again, if you would like to hear more about reader recommendations or reading recommendations to use with your 4 and APs, comment below and let me know if you'd like to hear a more in-depth video sharing the recommendations that I received for those levels. I do have a spreadsheet where I share novel recommendations by level, so I'll make sure to link to that down in the description box below in case you want to see more. Sometimes I know that you want to get a feel for the books rather than just clicking on the listing online and seeing like the front and the back and then like, you know, maybe a short paragraph description, but not really knowing like what kind of language is used in this, what's actually happening in the plot, that kind of thing. I did start working on a series of videos to give you a better idea of what's inside each book, like what sort of supports are available for your students, what kind of things are happening in the plot, what kind of language is being used, is this going to be a good fit for this level? I'll make sure to link that playlist for you here. I am always taking requests for books you'd like to see on this playlist, so if there's something that you're considering for your classes and you're like, oh, I wanted to get more information about it, but it's not in that playlist and I just can't find a whole lot of reviews online, drop me a comment and let me know, or send me a message on Instagram and just say, hey, I really want to know more about this book. Can you add it to your sneak peek playlist? I am happy to do that for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you need anything else, you know where to get a hold of me. All right? Thanks so much for watching.